Hello, hello. Are you feeling a little bit burnt out from having to do all of the things to try and bring in some sales and some extra traffic to your business, your Etsy shop, your website, your whatever? Yeah, not just me. Brilliant. Yeah, it does feel lately like there's an awful lot of paddling beneath the surface going on just to keep ourselves gliding across like a swan. I don't know where I was going with that metaphor. My point is that it just feels like we're having to paddle harder to get the same effects as normal. And it can feel a bit overwhelming, to say the least. And I was thinking recently, after a shift that I made in my business, which has seen me paddling furiously to perhaps catching a current and not having to paddle quite so hard. I know, I'm a little bit tired today, so the analogies are getting harder to come by. If you're new here, hello, I'm Kim. This is the coffee. No, it's not the coffee and craft. Is it? What is it? It is the coffee and craft. Good God! It's the coffee and craft podcast where I rock up and I waffle, and I keep you company while you work or craft. And as the name suggests, I drink coffee. Clearly not enough, and I talk about handmade business and the running of a handmade business. And today, if I can just get my thoughts in any kind of order, I thought we would talk about how oftentimes we are spending a lot of time and a lot of energy on the wrong kind of work. And it's actually the work that we are avoiding that is going to give us the break that we so dearly want. Well, before we start, I just quickly want to say I launched some mugs. These are sort of podcast merch. You've seen them. I only had a limited amount to begin with due to financial constraints. I'm very sorry. So to anybody who missed out, I am very sorry. They are going to be back in stock. I don't know when. I was hoping to have them up again this week. Unfortunately, I've just had to make a pretty big order for supplies, packaging supplies and materials. So the cups are having to take a bit of a back seat for now. But I promise you they will be back and I will shout when they are. So for those of you who have ordered them, thank you very much. Do let me know. Tag me in on social media. It's Kim Bliss. There's a link in the description somewhere. And yeah, I'd love to see the coffee mugs out in the wild. Okay, right, so back to this video because, you guys, I have thoughts. So this podcast episode is coming from feelings. So many feelings. Usually when I rock up, I've got notes, I've got bullet points to try and help me keep on track. I have no such notes today, so this could be interesting. It's all very, very feeling influenced because I feel quite strongly about the fact that a lot of us, I don't want to say waste a lot of time on the wrong thing because that's too harsh. I think all of the work that we do is important, but I sometimes think that there's certain work that we tend to put off or push down the list of priorities, and when I say this, I'm thinking of myself when I say that because I'm very good at that. But recently, regular followers will know that I'm doing a sort of long Etsy experiment and it has phases, and I did phase 1 recently, and phase 1 was essentially sort of moving all of my items that were on my website but not on Etsy over onto Etsy as well because they were like bigger ticket items and I wanted to see how they did. They did very well, but it didn't end there. Oh no, there was lots of tidying up, new banners, and just trying to make my shop, the word subscribable keeps popping up into my head, and that's not even a word, but it's not even the word that I'm looking for. Basically, I just wanted it to be really obvious to anyone new who found my shop what it was that my shop sold, who I was, what I did, that sort of thing. And there was just I wasn't being very clear at all at the start, so I wanted to try and change it so that it looked a little less scrappy and a little bit more professional. And I managed it, but it's helped increase my sales. And tidying up my Etsy shop was one of the things that I knew I had to do. I knew in my gut that it would have a positive impact, and yet I kept pushing it down the list. And this is why I wanted to rock up and talk to you today, because I've been trying to put my finger on the why. Why when I deep down believe that something will work, why was I still procrastinating and putting the job off? And I think it's because it's one thing to be emotion-led and sort of know in your heart or your gut or whatever that something's going to work. But then logically, when your brain is telling you that there's no analytics that prove that it will help, and you might do it and it might not change anything, and there are other things that you can do that you can actually see, you can track the results and see if it works, and so you just tend to go and focus on those, and usually quite rightly. So it's easy to dismiss and go, yeah, I'll do it another time. But when I tell you, I think that was an excuse, and a pretty bad one, because when I actually sort of rolled my sleeves up and did the work, it's had a massive impact. I've done it here on my YouTube channel, I've done it on my Etsy shop. Where else have I done it? Social media platforms, accounts. I'm only on Instagram, but I have 2 accounts there, and I've done it on both of those as well. Everywhere I have applied this, things have increased. And I say things because the metrics change dependent on platform to platform. So for example, on Instagram, I noticed that I have been getting more followers more consistently, and it's just kind of given it a bit of an oomph, if you see what I mean. It was very sluggish before, whereas before now it's very like, basically there, it's increasing. There you go, increasing. That's the word I was looking for. So that was my Instagram account. That's definitely what I'm seeing increase on my Instagram accounts. Here on YouTube, for example, I haven't made too many changes to the look of it. I have been playing about with playlists and stuff, but it's more about the content, and I really hammer it home that I'm here for handmade sellers. And I think over time that has definitely changed the audience here, and I think most of you are made up now of handmade sellers, as opposed to, at one point I was appealing very much to a lot of get rich quick bros. And then what else? Well, oh yes, and then my Etsy shop, my sales increased. If you saw previous videos, you'll see that February was the best month that I've had in a long time. It was better than the holiday season. What I'm trying to say, albeit very waffly, is that everywhere that I have applied this thought of, right, let's just stop running away from the work that I don't want to do and just do it, results have increased immeasurably. And that's what's kind of prompted me to rock up here without notes and just talk at you, because I think all of us have work that we don't want to do for whatever reason, and often it's the work that we're avoiding that we actually need to do. There you go, there's the video title. I did have a video title set up for this video, but I'm going to use that one. I like it. And I think there's lots of reasons why we may not want to do certain work. It might be because we're just overwhelmed by the idea of it all. For example, if building a website, if you've decided that you're going to take the plunge but you haven't yet done it, it could just be because the whole idea of building a website is just too big, too overwhelming, and it's just easier to not. It could be boredom. This is a big problem for me. If I'm not interested in a task, I find it really difficult to push myself through it. I have found ways to gamify jobs like that so that I can get it done. That's just a little tip for my brain. It's just whatever needs doing. Sometimes I have to make myself a chart like I'm a toddler. But you know what? If it works, it works. And yes, sometimes I give myself stickers. Do not judge me. Or, you can. I don't care. I like a good sticker. Another reason why we often put off the work that we need to do is because we want instant results. And I think there's a lot of this in play when I think I mentioned earlier about there's no analytics to show us how many sales we made from tidying up our website, or how many sales we made because we did a better banner or we took better photographs, that kind of thing. There's analytics that tell us where our traffic is coming from, unless, you're Etsy, in which case, yes. Yeah, I do wonder if perhaps it's not having anything solid or tangible that we can go, these are the results from this activity, because you never know 100%. For example, when I was talking about my social media following and how that's been increasing quicker and more consistently than before, YouTube, my Etsy shop, etc., etc., all of these things together are a pattern that have shown me that putting the work in here has been helping. But again, I have no proof. And I think logically our brains can use that as an argument for not doing the work sometimes. It's easy to sort of go, I know if I tidy up my Etsy shop, then I will increase the likelihood of visits converting into sales. But then if your brain's going, yeah, but you've got no proof, then it's a lot easier to go, oh yeah, you're right, okay, we'll do it another day then, isn't it? And then lastly, I think it's fear. I think fear holds us back from doing the work that we don't want to do a lot of the time. And that can be fear of failure, because it's easy to say that, oh, well, I haven't achieved X when you haven't tried. But when you try, it hurts if you still don't achieve it, because you've just taken away your excuse. But then I also think on the flip side to that, some of us are afraid of success as well, because what if we get what we want? What if we get the traction? Then what? We've got to keep it up, and then the pressure, and then the But then doing the work has worked. Shocking, isn't it? And that's what makes me want to come up here and go, guys, if you've got work that you've been putting off for the same reason, I don't want to say just do it, because that's so easy and it's so condescending, because the reasons for not doing the work, they're not small things, are they? I mean, we've all got very good reasons for not wanting to do certain things. Didn't even mean it, but a year from now, you'll be glad you started. There you go, you've got my cheerleading cup. For a lot of us, a part of doing the work that we don't want to really do comes down to our customers and knowing who our customers are and who they aren't really, and trying to figure out if we are making the right products for our customers, if we need to maybe do a shift. And I'm right there at the moment, because if my sales on Etsy are to be believed, it could be that my own customers are shifting away from craft supplies and back towards more finished items. But I'm digressing a little bit. We shall, and also I don't know, it's too soon, we'll have to wait and see. But sometimes we need to figure out, is it our products that are the problem? Do we need to pivot our products so that we can make things that our customers actually want? Or maybe we have the right things, but we've just been talking in the wrong way and we've attracted the wrong audience, like I did before on YouTube with the reselling bros, remember? And I kind of had to pivot things so that I could sort of find my people again and go, hi, handmade sellers, I'm for you, not you, you. And so many people I know think they know who their ideal customers are, but don't really. Or like they'll know the basics, like demographics or general geographics, like, oh yes, my ideal customer is a woman about my age and from the UK, and she likes crafting. That's not knowing your customer. My customer, I've gone right down to even giving her a name. She's called Emily, and even her name, because I knew that she was my age sort of group, sort of like a millennial. I looked on, I went and Googled popular female names for millennial women, and Emily was up there, and I was like, yep, she's an Emily, just feels good. I know my target customer for my project bags and whatnot, and what she wants is changing. Not only do I know how old she is, where she lives, I know that she likes cozy and sort of like the slow living vibe, but also in the middle of living in a fast-paced world. Basically, Emily is a lot like me, but a lot of people don't know who their target customer is. And I had a conversation with someone a while ago where they were making these leather wallets, and they were gorgeous, but they were making them for the men. The men, that sounds so like some sort of horror film. The men. His target customers were men who wanted leather wallets, like hard wearing but attractive leather wallets, and the ones that would just would last and wouldn't just be too bulky in pockets and all of the things. But after really getting to know his customer, he found out that his customers were not the men, but the wives and the girlfriends and the children and the work colleagues of the men. The men were the recipients, but rarely were they the buyers. His items were being bought as gifts, which, you know, I'm sure he's going to have a lot of fun on Etsy if Etsy is big on gifting this year. But they were his target customer. So all of his marketing, yeah, that's the right word, Kim, well done. All of his marketing had been towards men, and what he needed to do was try and tilt to other people. Now, I never got back to him, so I don't know how he managed with that. I should find out. But I've always kept that because I just think that is an amazing example of where you think you know your target customer, but do you? You need to know your Emily. I do have a course on this. Yeah, I know, another YouTuber with a course. I'm so unoriginal. But I really believe in this course, and all of the things that I've talked about I've done because I was making this course, realised that I wasn't applying these things myself, which seems a bit hypocritical, applied them, and they worked. Now, if you're not sure and you're like,
Kim, I really don't want to have a course sold to me.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I get it. If you're curious but not sure, I have a link in the description and you can go and check it out, and it's got a breakdown of what's involved in the course. It's got some reviews, and it has a free, I always forget the word, which is brilliant, intro video. So you can get an idea of what the course is about and if it will be a good fit to you. And if it's not, it always comes back to our target customer. So course or no course, just give it some thought. And if you do nothing else, then think about one thing that you've been putting off for a little while. Just do one thing this week and see if it works. If nothing else, it will get it off your to-do list and you'll feel really good for it. But it might actually just help too, just saying. And if you're not bored of me and my face and you'd like to see another video, then I will put a random one up here today. I don't even know which one this is. I'll let YouTube pick one for you and we'll see what's here. It's going to be different for everyone. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.